No, yeah. Before I start, I want to know if I can see the chat box.
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah, yeah. Just a second. Faisab, can you kindly, Safsab, can you write something in the chat? Oh, yeah, yeah. I can see it. I can see it. Yes. Oh, chat box is important to me because I want to also make sure that you know, uh, people haven't slept during this whole conversation. So I want to make sure that that happens. But anyways, Saif Saab and everyone else, at the outset, I'm really thankful to all of you for this beautiful opportunity. Um, my connection with almost all of you is through chat. So I invite you all if you have anything coming up or if you have some ideas. And I would request everyone to kindly put your put it on mute. Yeah, yeah, wonderful. So my connection with you will be through the chat box. So kindly feel free to talk and respond. I usually avoid doing webinars for the reason being I feel a certain amount of disconnect with my audience. And if there is anything that I want when I am doing something like this, it is to connect with the people, connect with whoever is listening to me. So I would urge you all to please take an active part in this small and beautiful conversation, and I'll try to make sure that it is of some help to you. Hopefully, let's hope for that. My name is Farhat, and I am joining you all the way from the beautiful part of probably one of the most beautiful parts of India. It's Kashmir, and weather here is, I think, similar to Bangalore. It's around 22 right now. Yeah, so that's how it is. And my warm regards from this beautiful place. I want to know from you beforehand. This is going to be about behavior and how we change our behavior for good. But I want to know from you all just to get a hang of who I'm talking to. If some of you could tell me where are you joining this conversation from, and if at all you could say a few things, maybe your profession, or maybe if you're a student, which class are you in. So kindly let's crowd this chat box, which is so far quite empty. So we have Ns Kumar Saab, he's director research, and he's joining us, and he's been saying okay. We have Tehzeeb, who is in Oman, and he's a software engineer. So welcome, Tehzeeb. And Ns Kumar, welcome to this beautiful small conversation. Hey, Amir from Lucknow, he's an IT professional. I got to know that most of you are IT professionals, and I have one very interesting story to share with you, and it has to do with IT and behavior. So, because a lot of you are working on in that domain. NS Kumar is a professor and director, and he's from Gaussiya College of Engineering. Then we have Zahir Sahab, and Zahir Hassan Sahab is from Ramnagara. Then we have Ibrahim, and he's a student. Mukhtar Ahmed from Hyderabad, he is again an IT professional. We have blood bank technician. Okay, he hasn't mentioned his name. Then we have MS, he's from JMEC. He says no voice. I hope I'm audible. Then we have Parvez Khan Sahab, he's system admin with working with in UAE. That's good. Now in India. Okay. Ahmed Nadeem, project manager. MashaAllah, we have such, wow, we have people joining from different parts of the world. This is beautiful. So, hi everyone. Sheikh Naushad from Karnataka, Gulbarga, IT engineer. All right. All right. So, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us from all these different places. So, today, I was wondering what we should talk about, and I thought let's talk about something that actually can have a huge repercussion on our lives. I mean, I have come to realize over the past few years that we all are, in a way, suffering from some amount of very, very difficult behavioral pattern, and we need to break it for good, and we need to develop better life and better habits. And I'm sure, and we are going to talk more about that. uh, i'll move to the I'll move to the first slide if it's okay. uh, Today, what all are we going to do? What does our journey today look like? So I want to invite you to this beautiful webinar, and I want to make sure that you treat it as a game. And we'll talk more about games in the coming slides. And then, who am I? I'm going to give you a little bit of an intro who I am, and then we'll talk about the basics of behavior. And then we will see if we can weave some dreams through habits and through these behavioral changes that we want to accomplish. And then we will talk about some hacks and habits, that some tricks that have really helped me hack my own behavior. And these are some beautiful and some very practical tips that can help you become a better version of yourself. And then we might even, if you allow me, we might even go and do a small online test. And I really want to do that for you, to understand yourselves behavior better. So and let's first talk about game. How many of you uh, watch cricket? So just giving, just want to know from you, are you ardent fans of cricket? Do you watch the game? Oh no, and I see a lot of boys in here, so I'm sure. Yeah, Parvez Sahab has raised his hand. Oh, Tehzeeb is crazy about cricket. Nasir, wonderful. So yeah, so I can imagine we as Indians, we watch a lot of cricket. So
देखिए
okay, yeah, somebody, yeah, yeah. So a lot of us like cricket. Parvez Saab says, but no time to play since he got married. Yeah, same with I guess most of us. Yeah, unless you're cricketers. Yeah, but the thing is, in any game for that matter, and as you can see on your screen, there are two types of people in the game. So one who are there in the audience, and they are there as a crowd, and they judge, and they laugh, and they are part of the whole the auditorium, or the stadium. But what really happens on the ground is between these 11 players. So it's between the batting side and the bowling side, and you might have an occasional umpire there, but the real fun happens between the players. And does Virat Kohli sometimes get out on a zero? Yes, he does. But then he's someone who is actively engaged in the process of cricket. And as you know, we know the players more than we know the people in the audience. So in fact, I don't know of any uh, buddy, and I've been watching cricket since my birth. I don't know anyone from the audience members ever. I have not known anybody unless they've done something really, really quirky. But I remember names of cricket players, and I remember names of, for that matter, football players, and these people who are there playing, toiling hard, and sometimes not doing good enough, sometimes even getting out on zero, sometimes not scoring enough goals, but they're there in the ground playing. There and I want you all to be, and I invite you all to be players today in this small webinar that we have. We will be together maybe for the next hour or so, but I want to make sure that this hour, in this hour, you really take something out of this small interaction that we have had so far. What I know about you all very clearly is that you're people who want improvement, you're people who seek growth, and you're people who seek personal development, and that's why you're here on a Sunday morning. But personal development, as I always say, is not about information. And that's what I've learned over the course of time. It's not about how much you know and how much you learn, but about how much you put that knowledge to action. So my if there is any theme that I keep teaching my students and my mentees, and I've been doing it for several years now, for maybe close to a decade now, I've been telling my tribe to be biased towards action, to act on the simple advice that you get, because the results will always show when you really act. But that's the difficult part. We do not feel like acting. We do not feel like taking the first step. We do not feel like being consistent. And there is something that's holding us back. And today we are going to talk about that and how to eventually hack it. And I have some stuff arranged for you today. So be at ease. Uh, but first, before that, I want to get this chat box buzzing. There is this small message. It must be flashing on your screen, and I want you all to have a look at it and count the number of Fs that you see. So, but let us do it very fast. I'll give you another maybe 10 seconds. You have to count the number of Fs that you see on the screen and let me know in the chat box. And I told you, you have to be active. You have to be part of this whole small webinar that we have. So, okay. And now people are counting it. People are counting it. I get a lot of threes. Tehzeeb Saab says three. Mukhtar says three. Imtiaz has somehow magically seen four. Oh, Nasir has seen six. And then MS has seen three. Dania has seen three. So it's weird somehow that some people have see six. Asma Siddiqui, mashallah, has seen six. Professor Zahir has seen six. NS Kumar Sahab has seen six. That's good. I really love this. I really love this. Uh, oh my God, somebody saw seven. Well, that's interesting. Jyoti, I need to have a word with you later. So you have seen seven. That's good. So, okay, let's go back. Let's go back to this small slide that we had. Um, for those of you who saw three, there actually are six F's in this small sentence that you just read. And you actually, most of the times it happens, you skip the F's of the offs somehow. I don't know what happens, but then this is a very good exercise to know if you are really here. So if you're not here completely, and I see a lot of you who said six, so that means you were very attentive to what my instructions were and what the slide was like. So please, everyone, be here in this workshop, because this, if there are certain lessons in it which are life changing of sorts, and I really want you to kind of indulge in them and be part of that beautiful journey that we are going to carry out together. So if there is anything, if there is an intro that I usually give about myself, it is very simple. I tell people I'm someone who helps people. There are two types of lives we have. One, the life we live, and the other one, the life we really want to live. And if there is anything that I love to do, and I have been doing for so many years now, it is to bridge that gap between the life you're living and the life you want to live. How many of you feel there is a life out there that you really want to live, but you cannot because of some invisible forces or because of some situations? So Parvez Saab has raised his hand, and I'm sure there are going to be more people raising their hands. Is there a disparity, a difference between the life you're currently living and the life you really want to live? Let me know. Yeah. So thank you so much for being so responsive. Jamil has answered. Yeah, there is. I somehow see, and there are some more hands raised. Nasir Parvez Saab has raised his hand. So I imagine there, more often than not, when you seek this amazing journey of personal growth, we really see a disparity between these two different lives, the life that we live and the life we want to live. And it should always be there, because that's how we end up on this pursuit of life and growth. And if if we stagnate, and there is this term in English we call vegetate. If we stagnate, we vegetate. We essentially become vegetables. And what happens to vegetables when there is no sense of meaning, when there's no sense of purpose, when there is no sense of seeking, what happens is we tend to. I would request you, whosoever has her mic on, please mute it so that it's not disturbing for the rest of the lot. So these two phases, these two lives, the current life and the ideal life, why is it why is there a disparity in it? Why is it that there is so much of a difference? And when I say ideal life and current life, I'm not just talking about your career. So because a lot of us think about lives and all these sessions in terms of career. So but that's not what I want you to think about. I want you to take a deeper look at life and think of it as a holistic, from the holistic perspective, the perspective of what's your current health like and where do you want to go, what is your current relationship status like and where do you want to take it, where is your current financial self like and where do you want to take it, what is your current adventure self like and where do you want to take it. So I want you to have that holistic view. Many a times I have seen and I've worked with many amazing people, and some of them happen to be very powerful, and they tend to have a lot of power. But then when we sometimes delve into their health lives, I see, oh, there is a lot of a problem. So when I look at their personal lives, sometimes very good professionals doing amazingly great in their professional lives, when I look at their personal lives, things are not going on as they should have been. So we always have these different, we are not living a single role. When I asked you what do you do, you were by default taken to what kind of work you do, but there are other roles that we have taken up, and we take them up by default sometimes. And I want you all to now move to a very important part, and I will guide you through a small test that we will do. It's called a life wheel. I'm sure some of you have heard about it. It's a small test. We'll talk about that. But I want to talk to you. I want to share the small incident that happened with me last Sunday. I was guiding this workshop, and I do this 2-day workshop. We call it Compass, and now we have been doing several versions of it. And there was this beautiful incident that happened there, and I wanted to share that with you. On the first day of the Compass workshop that I was leading in a place in Kashmir, I get this call from a mother, and she's like, "Hey, Farhat, I have this cute little boy. He's 17. He is dyslexic, and because of dyslexia, it is this." How many of you have watched this movie Tare Zameen Par? Um, it's a movie by Amir Khan, a beautiful movie. Yeah, Parvez has watched it. Have there been other people who have watched it? Athar, Imtiaz. Yeah, it's a very beautiful movie. And if you remember, there is this young guy, a young boy who is dyslexic, and because of dyslexia, because of not being able to read and having difficulty reading and having difficulty writing, this boy somehow gets away from the group, and he starts thinking about himself, and he's in his own life and he has a beautiful life of his own, but people around him are not aware of it. So I get this call from this mother, and she's like, my son is 17 and he is dyslexic. And because of dyslexia, he does not go out, he does not mingle with people, he does not interact with anybody. And we are afraid what he's going to do with his life. And we sometimes he has undergone, he has been in depression and has undergone a lot of these very difficult life situations, and we want to take him out, but it's difficult. So I tell her, why don't you bring him to the workshop and let's work on him for the next 2 days. And for last Saturday and Sunday, we were with him. We were trying to understand what all difficulties he has, and we were trying to help him out. And the workshops that I usually do, they're designed in a way that it makes it very easy for people to come out of their current selves and move into the ideal selves. And we talk about, we give him some exercises, and he goes back, and 2 days later I get this voice message from Asad, the boy. And he's like, sir, something miracles happened with me. And this might be something, this may sound very simple, but it was very profound for him and very profound for people who know him. So he's like, we went to this picnic, me along with the other group, and they were dancing, and and then I remembered what you told me about breaking the shackles, and what you kept telling me for the 2 days that I was at the workshop. And so, what I did? I jumped into the I jumped onto the stage and started dancing. And it was a big breakthrough for him as a person, because he now stopped being restricted within the walls of his own self, and came out and expressed what was lying hidden inside him for so long, for close to 17 years. So this is the kind of work that I am involved in, and this is the kind of these are the kind of breakthroughs that we really want to see in people around us. And it was beautiful, alhamdulillah. So now what we're going to do is, if you all are okay with it, we'll take a small test. It's an online test. Wheeloflife.io is the website. We go there. It's a very simple exercise. It is hardly going to take you 2 to 3 minutes. So wheeloflife.io, we go there and we take a test, and there are some basic questions about what our life is, and you have to basically do a small you have to mark your current life and what your ideal life is going to look like. So kindly go to wheeloflife.io and take this small test. And if some of you are okay, you can share parts of the test results with me, and we will have a small discussion, and I would urge you all to be part of that discussion. So go to wheeloflife.io, and let's have this beautiful discussion after that. And because this is about you, see, you are the experts of your life, and you know where your current and your ideal life, what do they look like. And I'm sure you all have these beautiful conversations every now and then. Please take this test, and we'll come back.
मैं अच्छा दिन आपको कर रही है
I hope you all are on this website, wheeloflife.io. It's a free test. It's a very basic test, but it will help you understand where your life is right now. And then, once you know where the problems are, we can kind of uh, take it up from there. And this is a very basic test, but it gives you an insight. It gives you an insight on, oh, there are certain aspects of life that I have been neglecting. And I know most of you as professionals have been doing pretty good professionally, but it will take your awareness to things which are really important, but we don't pay much heed to them. So I hope you all are taking this beautiful small test. Saf Saab, are you there?
Ji Bharat bhai, I'm here.
So all good so far?
Yep, perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Very interesting, engaging.
So let's take this small test, and I would urge some of you to share your test results with me as well, if you're okay with that. So please let me know if somebody completes the test. So please share the link of the test. Okay, you have to go to wheeloflife.io. We can share it in the chat box if Saf Saab can write it down. Yeah, Parvez Khan has finished the test. So if it's okay for you to come, unmute your audio and share some aspects of the results, if it's okay, please feel free to share it. So that, we start off a small discussion. Yeah. Parvez Sahab. Okay. Anybody else who completed the test? Oh, Ahmed Nadeem, Parvez Sahab, and I'm sure because this is a small test. The idea here is the Ahsan has completed it too, mashallah. So the idea is very, very simple. We think of, oh, somebody shared it. Oh, Khalakul Abdul, thank you so much for sharing it. So I would love to have a look at it. And
How to share it?
okay, yeah, if Khalkul Islam shared it, I guess. Khalkul Abdul shared it. So, and Dr. Anas Kumar says, high confidence, satisfied, both professional and domestic. Congratulations for that, sir. So that tells a lot about you. That really tells a lot about you. Congratulations. So, okay. So now, oh, I see the results of one of our friends says health, he gives himself a 2, fun and recreation, he gives himself a 1. Oh, there's a long way to go, mashallah. And he there are various aspects, for example, money, fun and recreation, personal growth, and physical environment and career. So yeah, thank you so much, Khalakul, for sharing it with us. It really means a lot. The idea of this test, if you have, yeah, the idea of this test is to give you a reality check. See, we cannot grow until we know what spheres of activity we need to grow in. And usually we set for us these very, very vague goals. And usually what happens in our personal capacity, we are amazing. And in our professional capacity, we have these targets and we have these tangible goals that we have to achieve. And some of you are IT professionals. That means you are crystal clear about what you want to achieve professionally. What do you want to code in? And if some of you are into marketing, how many people do we really want to take this product to? And if you are a healthcare worker, so how many people do you want to see today? Or maybe how many lives you want to impact in maybe a year or so? You can draw these very specific conclusions for your professions. But what happens in our personal lives and in our real lives, I'll say, we tend to not take it very, very seriously. And that's where the problem lies. We may reach the moon professionally, but we may not do much, with our emotions. We may not do much with our relationships. And if there is any short advice that I'll tell you this very interesting study that happened um, 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 in Oxford, and it's called the Grant Study. Or Robert Waldinger is the director of that study right now. It's an 80-year-long study of studying about humans and knowing what really makes them happier and healthier and makes them live longer. And me being from the science background, I have delved into genetics and all. I would think, okay, it definitely would have to do with genetics. It would have to do with health. It would have to do with what we eat. It would have to do with how much workouts we do. It would have to do probably with, if you go a little, deeper, with the cholesterol levels in our blood and all these different parameters. But what the results showed to Robert Waldinger and previous heads, and it has had some foreheads before, and to rest of the world. And there's this beautiful TED talk that's available, and we can share the links later. So he says they realized, and there is data backing it up, and data from 80 plus years, and they are now researching the kids and grandkids of those people who were involved in the study. They realized it's relationships, the quality of relationships, that actually determines how healthier and how longer you live and how satisfied you live. So it doesn't have to do with career. It doesn't have to do with in many times, with what you eat. And maybe they are the factors, but the big factor and the very evident factor is actually relationships. So taking a cue from that, we need to understand that there are aspects of life that we need to really delve into and understand. Anyways, Mr. Muhammad Athar has shared his part of the life will test, and he's giving himself, mashallah, he's at 10 in spirituality. That's very good. His physical environment seems like a little, okay, he's giving it a 7, all right. And then his career, mashallah, I'm really happy to see that there is very little gap. So maybe in money, maybe in relationships, there is a little bit of work to be done, but mashallah, you have achieved nirvana, Mr. Muhammad Athar. So no, not much gap, a very good sign, mashallah. So let's now move to what usually holds us back when we tread on this beautiful journey, and when we want self improvement and self growth. There is something, always some force that holds us back. By the way, can you write in the comment sections what really holds you back when you want to achieve something and you're not able to achieve it? When you say, for example, have set up a diet for yourself, a diet plan or a workout regimen for yourself, but you're not able to keep up because there is something comes up, or there are some students in the group. So if some of you want to probably study, something comes up and it stops you from studying. Have you ever thought about it? Distractions, Parvez Khan says. Yeah, distractions is a big one. Yeah. And anything else? Can you come up with some more? Can you give me some more of these different forces that hold you back? Positive attitude must, then nothing holds you back feeling. That's true. Relationship issues sometimes hold us back. Lack of time management sometimes holds us back. Abdul Qadir says procrastination, addiction to mobile phones. Exactly. This is a big one. And then ghaflat, Muhammad Amir Saab says ghaflat. Yeah, a big one. Procrastinating and thinking more before starting anything. That's so true. Lethargy, lack of planning, mashallah. Parvez Khan, laziness. Tehzeeb, inconsistency. Yeah, that's true. All of them. Absolutely. Bang on. You all are right. The thing is, I have somehow been able to, all these years of thinkings, lack of self-confidence, being in the comfort zone. Beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone, for being an active part of this small conversation that we're having. The idea is, when I delved into this journey of self-growth, I felt these different forces pulling me back from all the different corners. Some of them were related to procrastination, and the big one was inconsistency. I was not consistent with what I did, and if there is a short pathway to success, it usually has to do with consistency. And if you really want to go long, you have to make sure that you're consistently doing something. And for example, if somebody among you wants to have a good health, you cannot do it by taking a magic potion once in a while. You have to delve deeper within yourself, and you have to keep doing it for a long haul of time. Similarly for professional growth, similarly for relationships, all great things for that matter in life happen because we are on it consistently over long periods of time. So you cannot expect success in small packets, doing it maybe once, twice, thrice, or maybe 4 to 5 times a day. You have to keep striving on it and keep doing it for several months and years to see physical progress. And thank you so much. You came up with these beautiful small snippets that you gave. And now what I later realized was, what if all these things could be categorized into one single enemy? So you have this hydra, and it has so many heads. It usually confuses us. And there is this beautiful book there's this beautiful book called The Art or The War of Art, and it kind of helps us condense all these different types of things: stress and procrastination, and that feeling of inconsistency, that discomfort that you feel when you start something. And he calls it resistance, but it manifests as so many different things. And I know you all can relate to all of these. For example, self-doubt, distractions, comparisons. You actually mentioned it. It's not art of war, it's war of art. So busyness, ego and pride, external circumstances, we give all these different problems enough power that they hold you back. But what if all these different problems, all these different issues are actually a single enemy, and let's name it resistance. There have been we come to know about it from the Islamic traditions. There is something we call nafse amara. So there is this thing within us that keeps us stuck to impulses, that does not want us to grow. For example, if some of you want to start a business, or tread on this self-improvement journey, or make some positive changes in relationships, or you face a little bit of uncertainty because you take some risk, and risks have their rewards. And a lot of these big success stories in the world are the products of taking risks. So yeah, you want to break from the certain kind of routine, or you want to embrace a new challenge, or you want to set out to write a book. What happens is, there is this thing which is very insidious, and it's kind of within us, and it kind of becomes that negative pull that holds us back. It may emerge as any of these different things. It may emerge as a fear, it may emerge as that thing for perfectionism, it may emerge as that as ego and pride, or self-doubt, and so many other things. But deep down, if you want to identify it, let's not identify it as any of these, but as a single force called resistance, or nafse amara, or whatever you want to call it. But identifying it is really important, because when you identify it as that force, you are then able to take that step away from it. And if there is a short way to do away with the power of this force, because it draws almost all of its power from yourself only, it is to take action against it. So if you are trying to set up a business, or if you are trying to write that book, or if you're trying to make that video, if you're trying to make that first move in a relationship, or if you are trying to face some uncertainty, or set out to talk to someone, or set out to read that book, you are going to feel this negative pull. And it has been designed in a way that it gives you all the very, very logically correct and rational ways to set off from the journey. It's so intelligent because it draws a lot of power from you. It's going to tell you things that are going to be very, very convincing. How often does it happen to you that you set out to do anything nice and good, and then you have this chatter in your brain telling you, hey, maybe you do it later. Maybe you do it, maybe it's not as fun. Maybe people are going to judge you for it. Maybe it might not lead to the results that you want. Maybe people are going to make fun of it. Maybe it has to do with, you might fail eventually. How often does it happen? I'm sure you have heard that chatter many a times. So that chatter is basically this resistance, this insidious and very, very powerful enemy that's trying to hold you back. And what you should do at that point is understand these forces, and know these forces, know this enemy, and take the step in the direction that it does not want you to go in. And eventually, when you do it more and more often, you will take out the power from this resistance. You will take out the power from this insidious force, and eventually it starts getting smaller and smaller. There is this beautiful incident from the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He was asked, so Prophet, peace be upon him, and he would talk about this nafse amara, he would talk about this urge, and he would say, okay, we have this, it's like that horse, and we need to have it under our, reins. Otherwise, what happens is it moves around and it goes wherever it wants to go. And one of the companions of the Prophet asked Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, oh dear Prophet of God, do you also have these impulses? Do you also have this resistance? Do you also have this nafse amara or whatever? He's like, yeah, but I have reined it. I have controlled it. So when you start controlling it, it kind of manifests in these beautiful ways. And today we are going to talk more about it in a while. But so far, I want to know from you, how many of you are asleep right now? And how many of you are with me? And I would ask you all to say we are with you, or say boom, or type something in your, yeah, wonderful. Ahsan Jamil is with me, and Nadeem, Amir, superb. Saif, amazing, something, okay. Saif is with me, okay. Hamza, Nazir, superb, superb, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Imtiaz is hearing me. Thanks a lot. All right, all right. Dr. Anas Kumar is with us. Jyoti is with us. Parvez is with us. Thank you so much, everyone. So good to know from you. So good that you're here. Let's move ahead now to one incident that changed my life. And it's a very important incident, and I give it a lot of importance. There is this person named Alan Pease, and he is this world-renowned body language expert, and he has written many books on body language, and he tours around the world, gives talks. And I had read his books a long time back, and I was like really very inspired by the kind of work that he does. And he's a remarkable public speaker. And we had this opportunity, I had this opportunity to meet him in Delhi in 2017-18 during this Times Lit Festival. And he was promoting his book called The Answer. And I grabbed his book, and now he's on the stage, and I really want to meet him. It's like if you are Shah Rukh Khan fans and you have Shah Rukh Khan just a few meters away, you really want to meet him, right? Or you have some other fan, you have some other great person who you admire a lot, and he's in front of you, you really want to meet him. So I wanted to meet Alan Pease, and I was like, oh my God, this is a lifetime opportunity. I might not get this again, so I should go and meet him. And then what I do is I kind of convince a couple of people and move ahead, move closer to the stage. And ultimately, I got this opportunity to meet Alan Pease, and I had his book in his hand. And when you have these opportunities, you meet someone who is very knowledgeable and who has an amazing experience. For someone like me, I ask them questions which are deeply meaningful to me. And I asked him, Alan, give me an advice that I could carry on with my life, and it could change me as a person fundamentally. And Alan writes on the book, think only about what. I didn't understand it. And I was blunt enough to tell Alan, I don't know what you're talking about. And he was like, oh, there is this chapter in this book, and I have talked about what does it really mean. So you should go through the book and you will understand. And I read this book, and I got this amazing insight on life. And I think it is going to be of some help to you. And it is connected to what we are discussing today. Because first, I wanted you to know and understand this hidden enemy that we have. And it manifests as several things, and it has several heads. But now I want to talk to you about something really very important, and it's think only about what. And why is it important? It's because it is what becomes that compass for us, and it helps us navigate through the ocean of life. And it has to do with something in our brain we call reticular activating system. Reticular activating system is this amazing piece of technology that our creator has installed in our heads, and it does this amazing function. How many senses do we have? Okay, it's a basic question. Yeah, I just want you to be part of this conversation. That's why I'm asking. Yeah, it's 5 senses. Yeah. So these 5 senses, there is a lot of information that these 5 senses give us every moment. For example, the visual senses right now, I have this vision, and I can see this camera on my phone, on my laptop, and I'm talking to it. But then there is this side vision as well, and I'm able to see certain parts of my room. When you're looking at your phone or your laptop, you're also looking at several other things, but somehow your focus right now is on my voice and on the visuals you're getting from the screen. So the other things get blurred out. And then I can take your awareness a little more to, for example, your foot, your feet. Right now, go to your feet and feel your feet touching the ground, if at all they're touching the ground. So now you, as when I said to you, go to your feet, immediately you start feeling the bottom of your feet, which are touching the ground, or your buttocks, which are touching your chairs. Or for that matter, if I tell you, oh, just expand your awareness to the other sounds of the fan, of all the birds chirping, or maybe of the cars which are whizzing outside your room. Immediately your attention goes to all these different things, and you see all these different things, and you hear or you feel these different things that you were not aware of a moment back, a moment before. What really happens is this reticular activating system acts as a filter. It lets you focus on things which it thinks are important. It's very essential. All the other sensations, they get filtered out, and you only get, it acts as that funnel, so many different things coming, but it's able to filter out and give you information that you think is important. Stay with me here, because I'm going to give you another example. Think of you planning to get on a new car, or a new model of phone, or new model of something, or a scarf, or a shirt, or anything. Have you experienced that when you set out to buy something and you decide on buying the new car or a new phone or something else, you see more of it around you the next day? Has it happened to you sometimes? Sometimes it happens with us, girls, they want to buy the new maybe a shirt or a new purse, and the next morning they see more of these purses around them. Does it happen often? Has it ever happened to you, by the way? If it has, let me know in the comment sections. Yes, it has. Yeah. So this feeling that we have, this idea that we have, oh wow, that's mind chronology. Yeah, it does happen. Yeah, it mostly yes, it does happen. Thank you so much for your responses. So what happens really is reticular activating system is like that GPS in your mind. And when you give a very vague input to your GPS, for example, if you have to come to my place in Srinagar, and what you do is you type in Srinagar as in the GPS, what will happen? When you type in Srinagar in the GPS, it's going to take you around Srinagar, and Srinagar is a big city. And if you now give it specific inputs, what's going to happen? You're going to then move to very, very specific places, and it's like a no-brainer. It's very easy. You see it happening with you all the time. You use Uber, you give it a vague address, it's not going to take you anywhere. You give it a specific address, and it's going to take you to that specific place. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Reticular activating system is like your GPS. And you give it very vague ideas. You give it very vague ideas about life. If somebody asks you, oh, what do you want to do? I want to become happy. Very vague of an idea. What do you want to do? I want to be rich. Very vague of an idea. How do you want to live your life? I want to be healthy. Oh, it doesn't mean anything to your, because there's no image being created. It's not specific enough. It's not concrete enough. So what's going to happen is your reticular activating system is not going to filter information very efficiently. So it's actually up to you how specific of the inputs you give to your brain for it to act in your favor. If you want your brain to act in your favor, you have to give it very, very specific inputs. For example, if in health, you want to go from 80 kilos that you are right now to 70 kilos, and that's actually, and you talk to some experts in the field, or you research it online, and you reach to this conclusion that 70 kilos is the appropriate weight that I should be at. This now is a very specific input. You put it in your brain, and then you research a little more about the kinds of foods that you want to have. Then what's going to happen is when you go into the supermarket, your brain is going to filter out a lot of stuff out there, and it's going to give you specific inputs which are aligned to the kind of person you want to become. For example, if somebody wants to become an IAS officer and wants to apply in civil services, what will happen then is when they or she or he goes to a bookstore, she's going to find out more. Her brain is going to take her to places which has the books related to civil services more than the comics or other fiction or other books which are not relevant to her. This is how you can make your brain work in your favor, by giving it very, very specific inputs. And what Alan Pease had tried to tell me during that conversation was, you should be very, very clear about what exactly you want, and not care about how so much, because how is something figure outable, and everything is figure outable if you know exactly where you want to go. Are you with me so far? Nasir says, okay, I think I've explained it in a little bit of a detail. We can take questions later about it, because I really want you to understand this. So super, super, super. And now we move to something which has been quite a discussion in the world of self-development over the course of time. How many of you are familiar with this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear? Hassan is. How many of you, yeah, Kadir has read it? Maybe, yeah. Even if you haven't read it and you're aware of it, let me know. This is a beautiful book, by the way. And for those of you who haven't read it or want to read it, so please go through it. It's a beautiful book and it's quite helpful. So it's okay, Parvez. You will read it now, I'm sure. So what this book is about is helping you understand what habits are, and then helping you read it and helping you, have good habits and break bad ones. Um, oh, Saf, how much time do we really have? I mean, I really want to have the track of time because.
Yeah, it depends between you and audience. Maybe
Okay.
15 to more.
Yeah, 15 to 20 minutes. I want to help you understand some small bits of habits before we call it a day. Yeah, yeah. Super. So what this book is all about is, it tells you how your environment and everything can be changed to work in your favor. For example, if you want to read a book, it is better for you to have this book by the side of your bed, because then it's more approachable, the friction is less, and when you go to bed, you're going to look at it and it's going to give you some cues and you're going to read it. So this is, and roughly what it translates to, your environment is a really important entity in your behavior change. So, but there is a concept that has been severely undermined in that book. And the concept is the concept of willpower. So, what James Clear really wants to say is, your willpower may not be the most important thing you have. And that's where I differ from him, and that's where the current studies differ from what James Clear is trying to portray. Willpower, and there has been some remarkable work done by Carl Dweck and others in the field, they suggest willpower is as strong as you think it is, as strong and as powerful as you think it is. So willpower is one entity that we can draw a lot of our happiness and a lot of our power from, and that power can help us change our behavior. So environment and other things, we're going to talk about them in detail, but willpower primarily, if you really, really want to do something, you can move mountains. If you really, there was this poem that we were taught as kids: give a man a horse, he can ride; give a man a boat, he can sail. So give a man or a woman or, the humans anything, they're going to come out with something. They're going to come out with a justification. They're going to come up with solutions. So if you really want to improve your relationships, your willpower, and you believe you can, there is a possibility that you will do better than others. So, but there is more to it, and I'm going to talk about that in detail. How many of you know this guy on the left side of your screen? And what is he known for? Give me that one equation he's known for. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. E is equal to mc square. Yes, yes, yes. So, yeah, he's Einstein and he's known for E is equal to mc square. But today, oh, yeah, Dr. Anas Kumar is known for intelligence as well. He was a physicist, as he exactly. And yeah, Einstein is known for his IQ as well. This is E equal mc square. It's one of the most important equations of the physics. So, but there is an equation in behavior that we need to remember. And this equation comes from this man who runs this behavior lab in Stanford University. His name is BJ Fogg. And he talks about it. And I want to draw all your attention because now this is getting serious. And now we're talking more about behavior and very important aspect of our life and behavior. BJ Fogg, the behavioral scientist, he has this lab in Stanford University, and he has done remarkable work on behavior and how we can alter behaviors of people. Are you aware of BJ Fogg? And I have this small story to tell you. How many of you here use Instagram? Yeah, please be part of it and say how many of you really use Instagram and you're hooked onto it and you're addicted to it. It's such an addictive force. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Used to. Oh, some of you say no, they don't use Instagram. But oh wow, I'm so amazed, Mukhtar Sahab. And there are some people who say no, they don't use Instagram. Rarely I use. Good, 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 good. Super, super, super. Instagram has this co-founder. His name is Mike Krieger. He's he's the co-founder of Instagram, and he was one of the students of BJ Fogg. And there was this class that he does. He does a boot camp on behavioral changes, and he did this boot camp way in 2003, 4, and he keeps doing it, I guess, every year. So he talks about this idea of how you can change behaviors of people. And there is this famous equation that we are going to talk about today. It's called B is equal to MAP. So what BJ Fogg taught Mike Krieger, the co-founder of Instagram, and I think this is the basis of a lot of this social media, addiction that we have in the current situation. I know some of you do not use social media or Instagram, but almost all of you see somebody who is addicted to social media use, and it's very difficult for them to get off social media. At least we can all agree on that. So B is equal to MAP. What BJ Fogg believes in, and I really think I believe in it too, to a great extent, because my line of work takes me to places where there is a lot of information being shared with people around the world. And this information, BJ Fogg, what he suggests is information alone cannot change human behavior. So, ideally, if I give you whatever I have today and give you all the information in the world, it's not going to change your behavior. It's not going to make you work on your life. So, what's really important for behavior change in real sense, tangible behavior change, is B is the behavior change. It depends on motivation, A is ability, P is prompt. So these three important aspects determine whether you really act on the information that has been given to you. So what does this really mean is, I will tell you and I'll help you understand this BJ Fox model. This is very, very essential and I want you to go through it before we move ahead. And if you are with me, let me know. Everyone, you're still with me? Say yes, we are. Okay. Yes, Ehsan is with me. Thank you so much. Jamil, Bali, yeah. Siddiqui, Ahmed Nadeem, and Tehzeeb, mashallah. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks a lot. It means so much to me. Nasir raised his hand. Yeah, he's with me as well. Sheikh, Mr. Mohammed Feroz, Dania. So good to have you all here. So this is important, and I want you to rise up for this, and I want you to wake up for this. So the idea, this graph is very, very simple. Motivation, when you have a lot of motivation, for example, I give you a wonderful I tell you that you have to read a book and come prepared. It does happen sometimes when you are, for example, in a meeting, or you have your principal tells you, or your class teacher tells you, you must complete this book or you will fail the test and you won't get the degree. It's that, important. You have to complete this book today, else you are not going to get the degree, and it's 4 years of work going to vain, going to ruins. What you do is, because now you're afraid, and motivation can come up as fear, it can come up as hope, it can come up as a feeling of that aspiration for pleasure, or it can come as the avoidance of pain, it can come as getting some social respect, or it can come as that fear of shame, or fear of being shamed publicly. And a lot of, when I do a lot of these public speaking workshops, and I do public speaking training as well. One of the biggest uh, fears that people have is about speaking in public. And when we delve deeper into that, we realize it has to do with the fear of rejection by people, the shame that's associated with getting bullied, or the shame that is associated with being not taken seriously. So all these different things. So if you now, because now your teacher has told you that you have to finish it, and you have this fear that I might lose my 4 years of work, what is going to happen? Because your motivation is high, and reading a book is difficult in a day, but you are going to take all the courage, and all that motivation is going to make you read that book. And so ability is whether a particular task is easy or difficult. Reading a book in one day may be difficult, but because your motivation is quite high, you are going to finish that book. And there is this thing about, and again, there is this thing about motivation, and I think you all will agree to that. Motivation does not remain constant. So you will have waves of motivation. Sometimes you watch a good TED talk and you are inspired to work on your project, or work on your fitness, or work on the goal that you have been procrastinating on for a long time. You don't end up working on it. So because the motivation that goes on the top, it keeps coming down, and it reaches a point where you do not want to work on it anymore. So this is the thing about motivation. But there is an aspect of it that I want you to that I want to take you to, and that's where this graph is really important. When your motivation, if a job is, you don't have the motivation to do something, but the job is really easy, you still might end up doing it if you're given the right prompt. For example, I will give you this example. This is an easy one. For example, flossing your teeth, or reading, for example, because we haven't talked about reading, let's give reading as an example. For example, you want to read, but you do not read every day because of one reason or other. You say distractions and so many other things. Well, great, there are distractions, you're not able to read. But what if you put that book on the side of your bed, and you do not promise yourself that you will complete the whole book in one night, but maybe read a few pages? That same happens with journaling. It's a wonderful thing to declutter your mind. It's great for your mind, body, and soul, and it helps you think better. It helps you with clarity. It helps you. There is scientific studies that suggest that it helps you improve your mood and other things. But when you start journaling, the same, there is this resistance. But what if you promise yourself that you will keep this journal by the side of your bed, and when you're going to sleep, because you go to sleep every day, before taking that blanket or taking that sheet over your head, you're going to give 5 minutes to journaling, and you write down stuff on the journal. Maybe it's a gratitude journal. We'll talk about all that maybe in the question answer session. So this small, making the action small, does not require too much motivation. Big actions may require big motivations, and that motivation may not remain there for a long period of time, because motivation wanes off. It gets smaller and smaller over the course of time. But what if we make the actions really, really small. That's where this beautiful equation comes into, this beautiful graph comes into play. So if you want to achieve something in your physical life, rather than going cold turkey and doing 1 to 2 hours of gymming every day, what you do is you start working out by the side of your bed, maybe in the night when it's very, very easy, or the first thing you do in the morning is maybe do 10, 12 push-ups, download a small app or use YouTube, and have this small routine of maybe 5 to 5 minutes or 6 minutes or 10 minutes. So that's it. When you do these small acts over the long course of time, you start developing, you start uh, one, getting results, but second, you also start identifying with that person that you wanted to be. That person, that identity starts getting stronger and stronger. And then you can increase the amount of work that you want to put in. You start with 1 page a day, do it for several days, maybe months, and then eventually what's going to happen, this when this behavior gets automatic, you're going to do more of them. So the idea is that you choose one time of the day to do something that is good for you, and then you do small acts every day till this small act starts becoming part of your identity, and you do it often, you do it flawlessly, you do it without resistance. Is it very easy to understand or very difficult to understand? Is it easy? Let me know if you have understood it. And if you haven't slept, superb, superb. One person says easy, so let's agree that it's easy. But then, yeah. But then, are you still with me? Yeah, consistency is the key. That's so true. That's so true. I'll give you one example, and it's a kind of a personal example, but we have this counter on the kitchen, and whenever we get bananas, and I'm giving example of bananas here. Whenever we get bananas, what happens is we put them on the counter, and usually what happens by evening, everybody has, whoever enters into the kitchen, they take their banana, have it, and finish it. Few weeks back, what happened, I forgot to, when I bought the bananas, I forgot to put them on the counter. I put them in a room instead, which is close to the kitchen, but nobody usually goes to the kitchen, goes to that room. And several days later, I forgot about it. And several days later, I happened to go into the room, and I had this very, very pungent smell, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot these bananas, and nobody actually even had a look what was happening there. There were these small mosquitoes, and it had the banana had actually spoiled. So this thought occurred to me, when you make a behavior easy for you, and when you make it visible, when it's in front of you, and when you make it really easy, what happens is we tend to do it more often. So if you want, for example, people in your home have more of fruits, it is better to put the fruits where they are visible, where they are approachable, where there is very little resistance. If you put the fruit somewhere else, people are not going to have it. They did this experiment with a hospital, and they replaced the soda bottles with water bottles in front of the counter. And guess what happened? More people started having water, and the consumption of water increased several fold. And this is the idea. You start creating an environment around you which leads or nudges you to be the kind of person you want to become. And what's going to happen eventually? You are going to do more of those acts. Are you with me on this? Let me know. Superb, superb. I think, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. So what we will do now is I have this small concept to talk about. And after that concept, we will take some questions and answers. Thank you so much for being such a patient audience. You have been amazing throughout, and you have not let yourself sleep and let me sleep. That's so kind. Uh, so there is this concept I teach to my students, and I call it the bare minimum, TBM. You may be professionals, some of you teach, some of you are students, but there has to be a bare minimum. And this is not a coincidence. It has come after years of me doing these personal development workshops, reading countless books, going through maybe hundreds and hundreds of hours of personal development content on podcasts and other places, and being having been mentored by some of the best people in the world on the subject. So I have come to realize there has to be a bare minimum activity that we should do every day to keep our minds, to keep our hearts, to keep our souls intact. And it goes, wherever you are, whatever you do. You may be students, you may be professionals, you may be you may be teachers, you may be professors, you may be retired people. There has to be some minimum activity that we should do, and I call it TBM, the bare minimum. So and it over the course of time, I have been somehow able to using a lot of these researches and these journals and these studies. I have come to this compass hour that we all should have in our lives if we want to live healthy and happy. So it starts with the four core goals, and I teach these four core goals. I always say we should aim for the stillness of a monk. We should have this stillness of a monk, and we should aim for the fitness of an athlete, and we should also aim for the curiosity of a child, and we should aim for the passion of an entrepreneur. These four different people, we should aim for their the amazing life force that moves them forward. Stillness of a monk for a happy mind, for a very, very calm mind. And then the physical front, we should aim for the fitness of an athlete, curiosity of a child, and passion of an entrepreneur. So the TBM stands for the bare minimum. It's very easy. The bare minimum. The bare minimum. The bare minimum we should do to live a happier and a healthier life. And I'll move to what that bare minimum for me is. And I don't do, I was once 94, and then I lost close to 24 kilos of weight and got to 70 using this method. I did not go to any big gyms. I did my bit of a study, and then I stuck to the compass hour. So the compass hour for me has these small components. So I say 12 minutes of meditation. 12 minutes. Why 12 minutes? I know meditation is an area that may ring some bells. Some of us think meditation probably is something else, but no, meditation is actually paying attention to your thoughts, and while being present, so present that you pay attention to your breaths, and whenever thoughts arise, you witness them and you let them pass. That's what meditation is in the simplest possible ways. And there is this app called Medito. It's a free app. They ask for donations, but it's largely free. You can start this practice of a 12 minutes of meditation. You can even do something called gratitude meditation, where you sit down and you just remind yourself of the amazing things that you have. Could be the life that we have, could be the things that we have, could be the experiences we have had, and could also be the bad things that did not happen to us. So that's what gratitude practice is all about. And it's not a coincidence that the creator of this universe wrote this beautiful book, or and Quran I'm talking about, and he starts this beautiful magnum opus with the word hamd. So gratitude is a beautiful practice that we could inculcate, and we could do it, and it has amazing health benefits. I work with a lot of psychologists and psychotherapists, and they suggest if there is a short way to live a happier life and there is a switch to happiness, it's gratitude. By the way, moving ahead, for fitness of an athlete, we should have a 15-minute, the bare minimum. If you don't do anything physically active each day and you spend just 15 hours of activity, doing something nice, doing something that raises your heart rate, and maybe doing a little bit of a resistance training, maybe doing some calisthenics. So whatever you feel like, there is a lot of material available on YouTube and elsewhere. And there is an app called Home Workouts that you can use for this one. And it can really help you immensely. And then 15 minutes of reading, curiosity of a child. You should have this curiosity whether you are a 12-year-old or a 72-year-old. Reading has amazing health benefits. It also has physical benefits. It manifests as you becoming wiser. All these, content wise, you become stronger. But then I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you being in that process where you are able to absorb somebody's life worth of information, somebody's life worth of experience in a matter of few hours. So in that sense, books become those time machines. They help you live for centuries in a matter of 60 to 70 years. So 15 minutes of reading every day can have amazing positive life benefits in each and every aspect of your life. And then 8 minutes of journaling. So journaling is thinking about, getting whatever you think on paper. It could be, you could journal about what you're grateful for. You could journal about what you think about life. You could journal about what has happened to you. You could journal about these emotions that are stuck within you and you want to give a vent to them. But have this practice and it's going to help you immensely. And then I spent some time, and I call it planning time. So, some of you talked about this idea of distractions. We say, oh, we are distracted. This phone distracts us. There are other things that distract us. And it's true, there are distractions everywhere. We are living in the time of distractions. Life has never been this distracted. That's so true. But then there is this interesting idea that I want to introduce you to. The idea is very simple. You are not distracted until you know what are you being distracted from. So the idea that, you probably did not know what to do with the day, and that's when the phone rang, or that ting, bling, whatever, all these notifications came, and you started looking at the phone and got so absorbed that you forgot everything else. Maybe you did not set the agenda for yourself, and when you do not set the agenda for your day, other people set it for you. So think of it this way. You have a very important meeting each morning, during the day, or an important event during the day. You got so engrossed in it, you forget your phone, you forget everything else. So that's what I'm talking about. If you do not plan your day, somebody else is going to plan it for you. And in this attention economy, there are these very, very big companies and these very, very big corporates who are fighting each other, and they are kind of competing with each other to grab your attention. So and planning gets even more important during that time. So I say you give this compass hour to yourself, and I teach it in my compass program that I do quarterly. So what we do is we help people design their own compass hours, and when they have this compass hour designed, and you can then fiddle with the timings and all, depending upon what you are really serious about. But this is the bare minimum that you should at least be able to give yourself in this very, very difficult and very, very distracting time. And when you block your time, and when you give time to things that are really important, and you know exactly what you want to do, say from 12 to 3, when you know exactly what you're going to do, then distractions might not distract you as much. So you're not distracted until you know what you're being distracted from. So having said that, I think I'll rest my case today. I'm so sorry. The bare minimum. Yeah, I will write it down here. The bare minimum you should do to live a great life. Yeah. Uh, anyway, everyone, I rest my case here. If you have any questions, if you want to say something, please feel free. I have genuinely enjoyed this conversation because of your participation. Otherwise, these webinars usually are, this one side information dumping thing. So I'm not quite interested in that. Thanks a lot, everyone. If you have anything to say, just say once, just say, we loved it, we hated it, you bored us. Feel free writing anything you want in the comment section. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, N.S. Kumar sir says, it's a beautiful book. Yes, it's a beautiful book and we should read it, all of us. Nasir says, wonderful. Thank you so much, Nasir. Nasir seems to have liked it. Tehzeeb has liked it. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Can't be grateful enough. So Jyoti finds it informative. That's so kind of you. Thanks a lot, everyone. Azmat Saab has liked it too. Professor Zahir Hassan Saab has liked it too. Love the session. Oh yeah, I am energetic. Yeah, I believe in what I say. Yeah, that's what makes.
Would like to know if you have an offline session also.
Oh yeah, I do have offline sessions, but they are actually in Kashmir. So I invite you all to Kashmir.
It will be great. Okay.
So feel, yeah, but I'm serious in a way that we could arrange something in Kashmir and then you could come over, look around, because it's very therapeutic, just the idea of being here and living here. Yeah. Yeah, I have one thing to say, and Saf Saab, if you are here. So what we could do is, I have this 15-day public speaking mentorship program. If you want to be part of that, I can share the details. So we could do more, and we could delve a little bit deeper in public speaking. And if some of you want to learn the tidbits and how to improve as a public speaker, we can inshallah do that. Asif Kallu is here and he says, I'll catch you in Kashmir then. Yeah, sure. Wonderful. I'm so happy, honestly, by this amazing energy that this beautiful group has. It's really so heartening to see so many beautiful messages. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks a lot for being part of this group. Yeah. Saf Saab, are you there?
Yes, very much.
Yeah, please.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Any discussions? We can take few questions.
What was the name of the book, War of Art?
Okay. I did not hear it, sorry.
Please tell the name of the book, War of Art.
It's War of Art. It's War of Art. It's by Steven Pressfield. So it's a book by Steven Pressfield called War of Art. It's a beautiful small book. You can finish it in 4 to 6 hours. But it's very insightful. It's very, very insightful. So you should read that for sure. Yeah. Yes, it's great tips on how to get rid. So, okay, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. And if some of you want to join me on my Instagram, Farhat Inspires is my Instagram account. So you can connect with me there. All the programs I do, I mention, I talk about it there, and inshallah we can catch up more often, inshallah. Steven Pressfield is an author. Yeah. The War of Art. So it's a beautiful small. Thank you so much, Said Shahid Ali Saab, for mentioning it. So should I assume there are no questions? I have been very, very clear.
So any last question from the audience before we close the session?
One question I have.
Yes.
I do have a question. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, may I know your name?
This is Imtiaz.
Yes. Yeah.
Shall I go?
Yeah, please feel free.
Yeah, thanks for it. So I'm an IT professional working in an IT company. I feel like, I feel low to myself, and I feel that I need a lot of improvement still. I'm well confident enough. I'm doing well in my job, but still I feel like I'm going through procrastination. I feel I'm overthinking. I have a lot of distractions in my mind. I do have, because I'm taking a lot of initiatives. I'm the alone son to my father, and I'm staying in a village since I'm working from home. So there are a lot of distractions I'm going through, but that can be solved. I know that,
Mm.
but I'm not able to focus on my real time, that what I need to do every day. So how can you guide me? How should I come out of it?
So you're not able to focus on navigating your day and doing enough in a day.
Yes, I'm not doing. I feel that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm not focusing where I need to focus, but I'm just focusing on all the
Yes.
distractions.
Imtiaz, so do you time block your day? Do you plan your day every morning? Do you have any such routine where you sit down just to plan what you're going to accomplish in a day, or you haven't done that before?
I just tried to do it. I tried. I made a list, checklist. I made a checklist, and I tried to do it. But it is. I'm not disciplined. Like I do it for 1 or 2 days. I just keep quiet
So
again for
yeah,
the third
Imtiaz,
day.
I can imagine, the distractions, the resistance that I was already talking to you about. Maybe it's quite overpowering, and this is holding you back from doing things that you really want to. I really invite you to this idea and of dividing whatever you want to do, the big chunks, because usually what happens, we overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year, and we underestimate what can be accomplished in 10 years. So I would request you to start every morning time blocking, not making the checklist. So checklists, I think is it's not that useful of an idea. And then prioritizing, keeping at least one thing every day that you really want to accomplish, the highlight of the day. And there's this book called Make Time, and it talks about this idea of keeping a major highlight for the day. And then there could be other things which might not be that important, and you have to give proper importance to proper things. So I would start by saying, if you have these distractions coming up, have a morning routine of first meditating. Because when you meditate for maybe for some time, maybe for a few months, you start taking more control of yourself. That negative self talk and those distractions, and you see distractions are not usually external. In fact, 90% of the distractions and triggers come from within you. You are feeling, you have this feeling, and these triggers develop, and then you get sidelined, and you kind of get deviated, and you start doing things that you did not want to do. So I would urge you to have a morning routine of meditation, maybe for 10 to 15 minutes every morning. I know it's going to be difficult for you to meditate if you're not a meditator for this much, but once you do that, then you over the course of time start gaining more self control. And also think of these goals that you have, think of them a lot more clearly, have a proper idea of what exactly you want to do, and then divide them into smaller chunks that can be accomplished each day. And also give time to yourself as well. Give time to you give time to your family that you're already doing, as you said. Have a very balanced viewpoint. That's what I would say for now. If you want to delve a little bit, if you want to discuss it in a little more detail, you can have my email ID. It's there, so we can probably have a little more conversation about it.
Okay, sure, Farhad bhai. Thanks a lot. I'll be in touch with you.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. So, Farhad, one more question: that a meditation in the sense, say, I'll go for a prayer. Inshallah, I'll go
Uh-huh.
for a morning namaz.
Uh-huh.
So
Mhm.
that comes in a meditation, right?
It does. But Imtiaz, I think you will relate to it. What happens when we pray? See, our prayer is not to control our mind. It is, for Muslims, prayer is it is ordained upon us, so we have to do it come what may. When I talk about meditation, I'm actually talking about giving yourself time to reflect on the world within you, and then being able to have control on the thoughts that arise, and then going into the state of thoughtlessness through focusing on the breaths. That's my idea of a prayer. That's my idea of meditation. It has nothing to do with people usually misunderstand it as being part of some religious traditions and all. It's not that. It's just this beautiful tool that can help us have control over our thoughts and have control over our emotions better. And when you have, when you can conquer the world within you, the world out conquering the world outside becomes a lot easier. And when you say, we when we pray also, you could do a little more exercise in that front there. Usually when we start praying and when we start offering namaz, most of the times what we are reading, we are not even aware of what we are reading. We are not even there. We say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmaan Ar-Rahim, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, but we're not there. It's not that we are thinking about some things that are going to happen during the day, or some things that are going to be, that have happened. We are there in the past and the future, but not in that moment. You could use prayer as an opportunity to take control of the thoughts and being in the moment. That could be done, but you could then devote some more time to reflection and being there, and just being that passive weaver of the thoughts, observer of the thoughts, and then benefiting from it. Yeah.
Okay. Jazakallah, Farhat. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Tehzeeb has some question to say, ask, I guess.
Hi, Farhat. Not a question actually. I'm also from the same industry, IT, and I just would like to add something for the MDR.
Yeah.
Like, it happened because of the monotony. The same work doing again and again, again and again. So, like, the thing you said, like about the namaz, this is the key, like, paying attention to each and everything, whatever you're doing
Exactly.
throughout the day, and keep on, feeling starved for the progress and self-development. So every day, if you have some plan, at the end, you will measure whether you have achieved or where you are, whether you are lagging behind or you are, in a pace to get that thing. So I think this is the key. So like after some time when you are doing the same stuff, you feel, kind of exhausted and you don't want to do, or maybe you feel like, am I doing the thing I want to do? But actually, this is a profession, and you start liking it when you start enjoying the other things also around you. There's a saying like there's a life beyond the .com in IT.
Exactly.
So that's
Exactly.
the thing.
It's so true, Tehzeeb. So true. And
I agree.
I would add to it, there has to be a conscious effort. Happiness is not something that comes to you. And we all, there are scientific studies that suggest that we have a happiness set point. So there is this thing about happiness that we ultimately reach our default setting of happiness. And a lot of it has to do with genetics. In fact, 50% of your happiness does not even depend on you. It depends upon the genetics that you're born with. So happiness, in my opinion, and that feeling of satisfaction and contentment, in my opinion, it's your own choice. Because okay, you will reach a certain happiness set point, but then there is 40% of it that depends on your choices, and 10% that is circumstantial. So whatever situations you are in, that 40% window that you have, it's about you taking conscious efforts of being happier, maybe surrounding yourself with the right people, maybe talking more to them, people who enrich you, empower you, maybe having a routine where you read, where you maybe spend time with your loved ones, maybe you give yourself some times in your own pursuit, whatever that pursuit is. So all these things, be very consciously engaged in the idea of being a lot more contented and happy. So you can't just sit around and think this job is going to make me happy. The default setting that we are not meant to work for the jobs that we are working in now. So think about it this way. .com was not there as part of our evolutionary process. So it just came by, and now we are adapting to it. And in that adaptation, what's happening, we are losing the human aspects of our own selves. So we need to maybe, work a lot more on that front. And I'm sure there are going to be benefits. Thank you so much, Tehzeeb, for adding this to the conversation. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank-
Azib. I got you.
Yeah, yeah. Parvez Saab has something to add, I guess.
Yeah, just I want to thank you very much that you're given such wonderful tips.
It's an
Can you hear
honor,
me?
sir. It's an honor.
Yeah,
It's an honor, Parvez Saab. It's an honor.
yeah,
Thank you so much for joining us and being here. And you know, giving time for your Sunday must be very, very important. And we are here
yeah.
for the last 1.5 hours, mashallah.
One small doubt I have, like
Yeah.
sometimes when do the journalism, what happens? We plan for tasks like 2, 3 tasks for a
Yeah,
day, and
yeah, yeah.
sometimes we don't achieve the task. So what happens when you write down it? It makes a negative impact on the brain.
It does. It does.
So how does you deal with it? This is the thing.
Yeah, you know, I don't use journaling for planning my day. So planner is a separate thing. I usually use Google. There's you know, the Google Calendar for that. So
Mm-hmm.
it does happen. You know, when you have a checklist, you don't uh, fulfill it. You feel a little sad, and you're like, okay, and then it keeps on accentuating over the course of time, and it somehow might even reflect bad on your personal identity and your identity as a person. What I would suggest you is time block. A better
Yeah.
way is to time block. Give time and do it consciously. Give time for each and every aspect of your life. And then by the evening, use journaling to reflect on whether, okay, I didn't do this much. Why did I not reach there? So what was the underlying reason? And when you know, when you start doing this exercise over several weeks and months, you start developing a certain amount of clarity about your own thoughts and how you work as a person. And journaling I use for that, not for you know, planning my day, but eventually you have to also understand why are you not doing something, what is stopping you. And when you get an insight into that, it's going to create beautiful, it's going to open some more avenues for you to, you know, it's going to give you a better insight into who you are as a person.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just wanted to like clarify on something that just now Brother Imtiaz has told something about his personal issues. So what I feel like, especially the guys who are in IT,
Mhm.
they work. They don't work as a passion. You know what? For example,
Yeah, yeah,
some
yeah.
guys good in technical, but they do management job.
Uh-huh.
Some so means they उनका job है is opposite to their personality. So
Uh-huh.
they land up in a boring life, or let's say robotic life, that impacts their soul and body. Here
Mm.
is the problem. What I want to say. So you have to make sure the business you are into or job you are doing. So you should match your passion. Number one. Number two, you should take. There is a very wonderful slide you have shown today. 4 things that you should take care
Yeah,
of your physically fit body, your
yeah.
soul, your mind, and your emotions.
Wow,
This is
thanks so much for you know, reiterating that. I really love it. I really
yeah,
love it.
because I like the your slide. So we
Uh,
should yeah, we take physically fit your body. Then you take care of your soul by praying, namaz, reading Quran.
uh,
That is the nourishment of your soul. So you become
yeah,
more stronger day by day.
right,
Okay.
right.
Then you should have good relationship. So your symbol of heart, it was a heart symbol that should have very good in relationship.
True,
So
true,
that
true.
empowers you. So four of your symbol was very brilliant in your slide that want to say. So we should take care of our body, our soul, our heart, brain, emotions, these things. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Parvesa,
Mhm.
for giving us this beautiful revision. And I
Mhm.
genuinely believe, and it's not just me believing, when you put your work on, for example, the physical fitness, it helps you develop and it helps you release certain chemicals in the body. For example, brain-derived neurotrophic factors, and these endorphins and serotonin, and all these amazing chemicals that help you rejuvenate as a person each day. But you have to give, you know, if you divide the whole life into three concentric circles, the center of it is you, then
That's
your
true.
relationships, then your work. So think of
That's
it that we prioritize our work, give no time for our own rejuvenation, and our relationships come as a residue. And what happens later is, at the end of the day, we accumulate wealth, we accumulate experience and other things, we accumulate a wonderful CV, but we are miserable as people. So
that's true.
please,
That's true.
please give this central importance. Have a compass hour. Don't have my compass hour. Create your own compass hour, but have time for yourself. Have time for your relationships, and then, you know, have time for work. Obviously, it's very important. But then once you start doing it, and thank you so much, Parvez Saab, beautifully summarized. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And one more thing that why we are the nowadays I have seen our like youngsters, we are vision. We don't have any vision in life. We don't have much goals in life. So
Uh-huh.
what just because you deal with, mashallah, so much motivation speakers, and you have dealt with so many seminars, so what is the lacking behind that we people now don't have much multiple goals and visions, missions, and what is the lacking this? क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है कि हम लोग इतना enthusiasm नहीं है? What the reason? Depression है, we are busy, क्यों होता है ऐसा?
Basically, a lot of us, we are not able to, because there's too much information, and it's out of my personal experience, because I talk a lot about these issues, and I talk a
Yeah.
lot to the student community particularly.
Hmm.
I've come to realize it's very difficult for almost all of us to make sense of what is happening. And then, and there is a big divide, Parvez Saab, between what our kids are being exposed to through social media and what our teachers who are teaching them, what they are exposed to, and what we as people, who are there, as shepherds of the community, what we are exposed to. There's a huge gap. I was recently talking to some school kids, and it's an Islamic school in a very conservative school in Srinagar. So I was talking to them, and I came to realize, oh, the students listen to Andrew Tate, and teachers have no idea who Andrew Tate is. And then the people who actually invited me, the management, they obviously are not even on Instagram or on YouTube. They hardly watch it. So this disparity between these three generations leads to so many of these issues, and they're bubbling up like crazy. And I see it more, and I'm really worried, if we let it be, it's going to consume us. So we have to kind of devise maybe a policy to interact more with kids, very non-judgmentally, giving them space where they talk and interact. And we also get to diagnose, oh, there are these issues, and we need to talk to them. We need to talk them through. We need to let them know we have the solutions. You don't need to be overwhelmed. So yeah, so this is what I wanted to add to it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah. So Saif Saab, you there?
Yes, Farhat bhai.
So
Yes, yes, yeah.
yeah, should we conclude it then?
Yeah, thanks a lot to all the audience for making it a lively session, and special thanks.
I have, Saif Saab, I have one thing to say. If some of you here are in colleges and schools, and you are in the management, if you feel like, I would be more than happy to take out some time and maybe interact with your students. So feel free to approach me, and through Saif Saab, or I have my email ID here, drfarhatumar@gmail.com. You can message me there. I'd be more than happy to spend some time. Yeah, this has been very rejuvenating. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And I would request some of the managements who are here, maybe they can invite you to their institute also for physical face-to-face workshop. That will be extremely helpful, I will say.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Dr. Farhat Saab, I am working as a principal here in the Gausia College of Engineering.
Oh yeah.
Basically,
Yes.
I sent my question how we develop these habits in our youngers. And inshallah, I will invite you for our students on our campus.
Sure, sir.
While
Would
you are
love to do that. Would love to do that, sir. The thing is, in younger generation, we have to use this two-pronged approach. One is helping them believe that their willpower is an important component of who they are, helping them understand their true potential by giving them right mentors, giving them right role models, and also helping them understand that there's a lot happening in the world, and this is how we can make sense of it. That's one thing. But then, second very important thing is giving them the right environment where they can not just develop their true potential and reach that point, but also know what habits do they need to inculcate. And also, if there are some people who need some help in terms of the mental health support and all, let them know that there are avenues to do that. And one important aspect that I want to touch for the younger generation, it's very important. I talk about it a lot. We need to right now equip them with skills that they will require to live a better life. And those skills are obviously life skills. They are related to communication, they are related to public speaking, they are related to presenting, but they're also related to how we can live a healthier life. They're related to our emotional health, our mental health, our financial health, for example. We teach a very little about that, and about managing behaviors and managing habits. It's very sad. We hardly had 1 hour, and I actually extended it to maybe now 2 hours. But this actually is very little time. When I do have workshops on habits, they are usually 2 to 3 day workshops. They're long immersive workshops where people actually work out on strategies for themselves, which are personalized on how they can use these small ticks and trips and all these different scientific studies to help improve their personal lives. So I would urge you to kind of help them develop into holistic human beings, not just be bookish and not just be focused on their careers and taking everything else for granted. Yeah. So that's what I would say to the younger generation. They if because you are in contact with them more than me.
Okay, thank you very much.
So yeah.
So shall we conclude, Dr.
Yeah,
Sam?
sure.
Okay, Jazakumullah khair, and we expect to hear from you maybe
Inshallah.
again. It was so enlightening for all of us.
It was an honor, sir. It was an honor.
So many new things we learned that will definitely help us. So we'll keep in touch, inshallah.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.